Hey guys, welcome back to Combat Corner. My name's Kobe.
I'm Jackson.
Today we've got a lot to discuss, a lot of stuff going on over the weekend. Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou, a lot to unpack there. A bit of discussion about Izzy, he was seen out there in the weekend. A whole bunch of other guys were too, but a lot of interesting news about his potential sabbatical or retirement. And we've also got a drink to rate, whatever this is.
Wang Lao G Herbal Tea.
That's the one. Right, let's get into the video.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Combat Corner.
Ooh,
Very nice.
that's crispy.
Interesting. Hey guys, how's it going? So welcome to the video.
That is very sweet.
It's a very weird drink that we just tasted. So as we said in the before intro, we've got Wang Lao G herbal beverage, herbal tea, as you said, made it rhyme.
It does. It
here we
sounds a bit nicer.
It does. It's very interesting. Just to get into that, that's a very weird sensation.
I think I've got a few more sips in me, but yeah, we can we can get to rating that at the end.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Interesting. Yeah, I've got a few more sips to have before I can have a full on review on that one. I think.
Analysis. Really break it down.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's get into the video. So, yeah, big weekend of fights. Obviously, no UFC or
Big weekend of fight.
big weekend of fight. Literally, it seemed like that. Yeah. That whole card was. Did you watch much of the card undercard?
No,
or anything?
I wasn't up. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't up. I watched one fight on the weekend. Very, very poor viewing from me.
Yeah,
But,
same here. I wish I could have watched more, but I just couldn't be bothered.
Yeah,
You know.
like we said, we didn't have any clue of who else was on that.
I know. I've seen some of the guys on the undercard now that I didn't know were on there. That just shows their lack of marketing in this fight. There was a Fabio Wardley. He won by knockout, and they got a bunch of their random titles they have over in boxing. He's good. He's a good boxer. Other than that, I honestly don't know who else was on the card.
Yeah,
So,
it was, but the main event nonetheless.
yeah, definitely delivered.
It delivered. Yeah, it
Tyson
delivered.
Fury didn't.
Yeah, he didn't. He just wasn't there. He didn't show up. Like, I mean, from what we've been heard saying, in
In the previous episode.
in the past, in one of the past episodes at least. You know.
At least one.
I don't know what one it was. It might have been the
Someone
the only other one. But someone will figure. You know, one of you guys will figure that out at home.
Yeah.
But we both thought Francis Ngannou would be slowing down in the third or fourth, or at least I did. I can't quite remember exactly what you said word for word.
That's
But
pretty much what.
and then the idea was Tyson was going to run circles around him, but he just didn't look like he was in shape to do that.
No, it didn't look like he had what he needed to have in order to go out there and do what he wanted to do.
No.
He did look rusty, and he said that in his post-fight speech that potentially there's a bit of ring rust there. Obviously, he's been out of the ring for 9 months, I think it was. 10 months, which is a decent chunk of time.
Yeah, how long was it since Francis's last fight?
Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly.
Yeah. 9
Can't
months.
really make that excuse, can he?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, ring rust after 9 months. That is. That's
What about
a
ring
lot.
rust after never stepping into a boxing ring before in your life?
Francis really hit the CRC pretty hard in this training camp. Then
He did, yeah.
the old rust removal.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
But yeah, man. No, disappointing result from the judges there. I cannot see in what world 96-93 made sense.
No.
I mean, like, I'm like obviously no boxing fan from the state of like what I watched on the weekend, like the one fight that I watched.
Yeah,
but
it didn't. Yeah, it wasn't a good selling point for professional boxing.
No, it was not
at all.
At the end of the fight, Tyson Fury looked a lot more beat up than Francis did.
He did. Francis looked like he hadn't been in a fight basically afterwards. He looked perfectly fine. And as we were saying, we thought he was going to get slower as the rounds went on. He didn't even seem to gas at all. It was extremely aggressive.
No, he did gas considerably from the first few rounds, but he managed to kind of take a bit of pace off, or a bit, like he's got a bit more slack in the line. Yeah, and then he did conserve the energy quite well into the later rounds. Because that was one thing at certain points I thought, oh, it's the tipping point now. He's going to start slowing down and Tyson's going to start taking control, but it never happened.
No.
Like there was moments of it and it kind of looked like it could, but in my eyes it was Francis's fight.
Yeah. I agree. I like looking at it from pure boxing scorecard judging. I guess Tyson did enough to get the win in a way because it was very close. If you look at the stats, the punches thrown, punches landed, very similar. I believe Tyson threw a few more, but didn't land any more significantly. I don't know. It was a hard one to actually.
I had a quick run over the stats as well, and in all honesty, they were like slightly stacked in Tyson's favor, but that one knockdown should hold a lot of weight, and the fact like the connections that Francis was making were a lot
heavier,
a lot heavier,
a lot more significant than Tyson's.
It was a shock for me. Like I said, I'm not a big boxing fan, but I feel like when you watch a fight, you can really gather who's kind of winning, or like especially like fight fan, boxing fan, like like I know that's gonna piss some people off, but like when you're watching a fight, should be clear,
I get what you mean, but basically, like if you're watching a fight, you get like a feeling of who's winning, even without seeing the statistics. You can just tell, like, and it often comes down to who's controlling the ring, who looks more confident, whose facial expressions are showing more positivity,
whose face is more covered in blood,
who's more beaten up. Exactly, and throughout that whole fight, it just felt like Francis was going to do it, and it's crazy because imagine if he got the decision. That would have been one of the biggest upsets, if not the biggest upset ever. I think potentially
in combat sports, in boxing at least. I don't know. Yeah, it would have been up there for sure. It was an incredible fight. The
spectacle.
Thing, the thing now, like he's signed by the PFL. There's obviously a lot of other, big heavyweight names out there in the way of boxing that it's quite obvious now that Francis could go ahead and fight. Like this might not just have been like the one-off thing that some of us thought it may have been. He really does look clued up.
He does. He looked like a pro boxer. Yeah, for sure.
And he could be a real problem for some of those other big heavyweights.
100%. Imagine Ngannou versus Wilder, or I would say AJ. But I'd way prefer to see Ngannou versus Wilder.
Yeah. Ngannou Wilder would be...
insane, man. Insane.
That would be wilder than versus AJ, yeah.
It would be a lot wilder.
Yeah. That's one thing.
That's one.
Yeah, that's for sure.
For
but...
For sure.
That's for sure.
That's for sure.
But yeah, man, it was a really good fight nonetheless. Like another time we're sitting here as...
completely wrong.
Yeah, not so much completely wrong. We still picked the winner.
We did,
but now we're sitting here kind of a bit confused as to how he won.
Yeah. Confused as to how we got here, I guess.
Yeah,
and that's another thing around the what we were talking about with the amount of potential suitors he has in boxing, heavyweight boxing. I would actually say he's got more potential suitors for his next fight in boxing than he does in MMA.
Oh, hell yeah!
Because who in heavyweight, which legitimate heavyweight outside of the UFC? Do you want to see Francis Ngannou go up against right now? I can't really think of too many.
There's no one really.
And compare that to Wilder.
That's right.
Why would he want to go back to MMA now?
I know.
When he's got so many more suitors, especially after what he did in boxing, than he does in MMA. I just don't see, unless he went back to the UFC, which...
Isn't Jake Paul the only other guy signed to his specific division in the PFL?
Oh, the super fight division, whatever it is. Yeah, well, that could be a good one.
Match them up.
That could be a good one. All right, let's play matchmaker for a second.
Yeah.
Ngannou versus Paul.
Ngannou versus Paul.
Ngannou versus Pauls. Have both of them in there against
tag team, or just both of them at once?
Both. They can go at once if they really
want. I can see that. I think Francis would be up for that.
Yeah, and we'll chuck Mighty Mouse in there as well. Mighty Mouse and Francis versus Paul and Paul. The smallest and the biggest.
That would be
the biggest.
Wow.
Dosses.
Yeah, no, the biggest dosses.
Taking a pinch out of Tyson Fury's book.
Fair enough.
But yeah, honestly, I don't see many suitors for him in MMA. Who would you like if you had to pick one person in an ideal world? obviously outside of the UFC, who would you like to see him fight next?
Well, I mean, the rematch makes sense, like Tyson said, but that's got to be down the line. It is kind of a joke how he's like how they were saying how he's already like Tyson Fury's already signed into another deal.
Yeah.
In December, was it with Usyk?
December, apparently. Yeah.
Like that's an interesting one, but
it is now for sure.
Francis, yeah, I like what you're saying about Deontay Wilder. I think
That's tough.
it's rough. Yeah,
it's tough, man.
I like what you say about Deontay Wilder. That fight does make a lot of sense. That does bring a lot of eyes.
A lot of excitement.
Yeah,
sure.
like you kind of brushed over AJ. That would also be a good fight. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. One of those like, or he could even Yeah, no, I think it's got to be Wilder.
Yeah, it's got to be the two biggest punches that there are, basically in boxing.
The hardest hitters in the world.
Yeah,
that's what you could put it down to.
Yeah,
I mean
that would be a great selling point, and I think it would sell more than.
There's some of the only guys to have knocked down Tyson Fury as well. That would be another. That would be another selling point.
I think it would be great.
That would be a great fight.
And Fury, obviously, he's up against Usyk next. Apparently, we'll see if that happens. Fury's rumored. It is rumored to be signed. It's weird how they said it was signed, but like he had a fight.
Yeah.
So like
just another,
another one of boxing's weird little things that they do.
Thanks, boxing.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
I tell you, because there was a lot of talk about Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury for the longest time. I wish that had happened now. I wish it had already happened in the past, because seeing what Ngannou could do to Fury makes me wonder what would Joshua have actually done with Tyson Fury, because they're big, powerful punches.
Yeah.
Kind of similar styles in a way. I suppose Anthony Joshua is more of a clean boxer, but like, what would have happened there? That's a big mystery now that we might never get answered.
Yeah, it is tough. I mean, it is another one that he hasn't taken off the cards fully, has he? I mean, I
don't think so.
But yeah, how many fights does he have left in him? That's the thing.
Fury.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, it's got to be a couple. Got to be a couple.
There does have to be a couple. Mm-hmm. I mean, if he's talking about rematching Ngannou and he's got Usyk in his back pocket, then
it's at least two.
At least two, yeah.
That would be the perfect going out party for Fury. Beat Usyk and become the heavyweight, the first unified heavyweight champion since himself a while ago, and then fight Fury, Ngannou, walk off into the hills kind of thing. Yeah, that'd be the best option for him, I think.
You love your walking off into the hills.
I do. I said that last time, didn't I? Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Boxing's
a joke, man. Like.
Boxing is a joke.
How does the 2 hours leading up to the fight was just a greatly
summed it up.
It's just sums up boxing. But like, I just don't understand it. It's so old fashioned. Like with everything else moving forward and trying new things and kind of like the promotion is like, I just don't get anything promoted to me for boxing. I wish I did.
For the amount of money that they make, they could put a lot more effort.
I just don't understand it. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Surely there's not that many eyes going towards it now. Like,
no, it'll be interesting to see how many people bought that pay-per-view. The tactic that they use.
Sorry to interrupt, but that is at the moment in my eyes the biggest, like one of the biggest heavyweight fights you could make right now.
For sure.
Like, I don't know if some diehard boxing fans maybe see it as a bit of a gimmick or whatever, but. I mean, they shouldn't after seeing what happened, but
they were proved wrong.
Yeah, they were proved wrong if those were your views, and I'm just
they were
speculating.
Kind of our views last week. That's kind of what we said.
Yeah, that's right.
But no, you're right. It was a huge fight, and it just didn't feel like if that was in the UFC, we would have known about it, and it would have been forced down our throats.
Yeah,
every day. For months leading up to it, and that's how it should be.
It would have been leaked onto the side of a building in New York City by accident, like 8 months before. Yeah, like it's one of those things that it struggled. Like I really struggle to believe like how on a leading up to that week, I wasn't reminded every day. Like I do a lot of scrolling on my phone, I do a lot of that kind of stuff, and I wasn't given like
it just wasn't pushed enough.
It wasn't pushed.
it's one of the things that I can completely agree with Dana White on. The production in the marketing for boxing is atrocious.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then like you say, and then you get to the fight and the production of the whole event, it's like, it's kind of cool. There's a few artists here and there, but like, why is like, who are these rappers getting up and singing? Why is it 2 hours? You've got to wait 2 hours for the main event to come out. Like the UFC, it's snap, one fight after the other. It works. It's hype the whole way through.
And you can listen to whatever music you want in between.
Chuck your music on. Have a playlist running.
I'm not the biggest rap fan.
No, neither. And are boxers big rap fans?
I don't know.
Are the like heavyweight boxing elitists fans? Who was it that was it, like Little Baby or something? I don't know.
If we're struggling to get, promoted, like if boxing events are struggling to make it towards us, like in terms of promotion, I don't think the people that are listening to that music are getting promoted to boxing either. Do you know what I mean? Because therefore they're probably not watching boxing. So like, what diehard boxing fan, like you say, it just doesn't. It just doesn't make sense. All of it
doesn't make any sense at all. It is really strange, and it's worrying for boxing. It is. I'd love to see the UFC and Dana White in particular try and do something in boxing. I don't know if it will ever happen. It's kind of been teased over the years, but I'd just love to see how they did it. Imagine like a UFC style event where it's just fight after fight after fight, big fight after big fight, great promotion, just exciting, and all packed in and done very professionally. But with these boxers,
that's right.
I feel like they could do a great job. It's a shame that we haven't seen it so far, but honestly, the state of boxing is, maybe it's not dead, but it's not doing well.
It's just something about it that just feels corrupt as well,
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't feel right.
Just like I said before, it just seems like there's no new ideas, and there's all these like old dudes like dying slowly in these suits on a stage, and they're just there like, this is this is old mate just here to like, I've been promoting for 60 years.
I like how your feet go up.
Because it's like in a chair, isn't he? Dude,
no, I know what you mean.
Who is that?
The only good thing about boxing production is Bruce Buffer's brother. I can't remember his name. The other
B Buffer.
The other Buffer. There's another. It's not Bruce Buffer. It's his brother.
I know.
Long lost
but
brother.
I meant like as in B.
B brother.
B tip.
Anyway, moving on. That's the only good thing about boxing. The production. Do have to touch on it. Dana fumbled the bag a little bit with that whole thing, in my opinion. Letting Ngannou go, letting him go make all this money and make someone else all this money when we all know the UFC could have done that better.
I mean, we've all heard like that is that's one way of looking at it for sure. You've also got to take into account all of the demands Francis was making, like so-called demands Francis was making in his contract negotiations. It sounds like they were never going to come to they weren't
going to come to an agreement, even playing field. It wasn't going to happen.
That's right. It sounds like they weren't, like they were paying him enough by the sounds of it in terms of like where he stood in like the scale of what he was doing for the promotion and the rest of those kinds of things. But the other demands that he was making on top of that, it's not something that the UFC seem interested in.
Yeah, it was never going to fly with the UFC. If these are legit claims, or like the healthcare, the minimum fighter pay for his, the ability to box. But
I do agree with you though. Like, I mean, this fight has been what they were saying. It's been something they've been talking about since about 2019. Yeah. And Francis was well and truly in the UFC at that point.
He was, and
it could well have taken place back then. And like you say, it would have made a lot of money for Dana. But at the same time, I mean, it's a nicer story for Francis. Like,
for sure.
How much of a success story this guy has now, man. Like, like we brushed over it the other day, but just coming from the background he's had, and now he's gone up there to boxing and like showing us what he can do, and
it's pretty impressive.
It is very impressive.
And he's proved a lot of people wrong who said that he fumbled the bag. He definitely didn't fumble the bag. Francis Ngannou made a bag.
Actually,
in
I
the
know.
weekend.
I just came up with an idea. Francis Ngannou's next fight, it's not going to be in boxing. It's not going to be in MMA. In like 4 months or something, he's going to like grapple Gordon Ryan in a professional jiu-jitsu match. Yeah. And win.
Well, he's going to win.
That's his next fight. That's his next challenge.
Yeah.
That's the only way. He'll just take out the top hitters of every single combat.
Every other sport. Then he'll come back to MMA, beat John Jones, and be done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
No. By that stage, he'll be 50 and it will be in the Coliseum, like we spoke about.
Like we said. Honestly, I wouldn't. I'd pay money for that. He would lose.
Yeah, he would.
But we said he'd lose the boxing fight, so
right. And we said it was a gimmick too.
We'll see what's next. But yeah, he did so well. He proved Dana White wrong. Most importantly, in my opinion, he completely proved him wrong.
It's nice when that happens.
It is quite nice, and I can't wait for the next press conference where Dana gets asked a question about what happened. And don't get me wrong, I love Dana White. I think he's brilliant for the sport. But when he's proved wrong, after he was so certain that something was going to go a certain way,
Comical.
It's pretty satisfying.
It is,
especially when someone like Francis is involved.
A winner like Francis.
Yeah, exactly.
A real go-getter. He
got up from the sand, dug his way out of the sand, because that's what they do in the sand dunes, right? That's what he was doing.
He was in the sand mines.
The sand mines.
Sand dunes.
Yeah.
Well, dude, just either way, whatever his story was, anyone that can go across to another sport, because that's what it is. It's another sport, and literally just almost get so close to taking out the heavyweight goat. It's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. It
makes you wonder, like, if he had have just been boxing.
Yeah.
What would have happened?
If he was boxing his whole life, what would have happened? How would he have turned out? I mean, who knows? He did build himself up in the UFC, and he got where he got. He got to the very pinnacle, but let's be real, he probably would have done the same in boxing if he started there.
Yeah.
As well, he's got some great coaches around him as well. Who is it? Dewey Cooper. I think he's got the same coach as Strickland, right?
I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure his coach is the same coach as Strickland's coach, his head coach, I believe. I could be wrong there.
We're going to fact check this information.
Yeah, we will. I'm not going to bring it up. No, you know what I am.
No, go on. No, you're right, mate. In the meantime, while Kobe's bringing up this information, I'll give you a quick weather report. Christchurch today. We've had a nice showing of, I think, about a high of, I think I got to 15. It showed me 15 on the dashboard of my car. We've also had a little bit of cloud. No rain, but nice bit of sun here and there. I forget to click back into the screen so we don't freeze.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. I've just figured out
that's
that
a little
wrong.
behind the scenes. You guys don't need to know about that, but
that's just a technical difficulty that you guys do not need to know about. I was wrong. I think I'll admit it. I was thinking of Eric Nixick, but I think I was getting him confused. I'm not sure. Actually, no. Look, Francis Ngannou's coach Eric Nixick reacts to the fight, so it is the same guy. Yeah, he does. That same coach.
That's good.
Interesting.
I'm glad we fact checked it. We're certain now.
We are. Yeah. I think we can all say for certain that this was the most impressive crossover match in...
This guy? I'm just going to put it down to this guy now. He's obviously, like...
Oh, this guy.
In terms of upsets...
Yeah. No, he's got to be the coach of the year. Yeah. He's got to be the coach of the year. It's insane what he's done.
100%.
He's a cool guy as well. He's pretty good at breaking down fights and understanding why things go a certain way. The king. That's all we can say about Eric. Eric, do you want to come on the show?
I learned a new... Yeah, Eric.
Please.
We'll have you.
We'll take you if you get good views. Anyway,
that's very interesting.
Yeah, honestly. I think he said something about Ngannou, and he said, look, he hits it's like getting hit with a baseball bat when you get hit by Francis Ngannou. It's not like taking a punch. It's like you're getting hit with a baseball bat.
Well, I heard it's like getting hit by an Ford Escort.
Oh, Ford Escort, yeah. Have you
Or
been
a
talking to Dana White?
sledgehammer thrown from over your head.
Is that another thing? Imagine having that much power in your hand.
Like, if that is the case,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I would love to see what
Shouldn't
if a
Ford
Ford
shouldn't they be
Escort
dead?
just came driving, like
Just
if
at your
they set
chin.
that up right, Ford Escort drives directly into the octagon
Yeah.
full speed.
But multiple times as
Yeah,
well. Imagine
multiple
getting hit by a
times.
combo of that.
Yeah,
5 Ford Escorts coming at you, right at your head, not even your body.
no, that's what it's like to fight Francis Ngannou.
That's
So,
what it's like. Poor Fury.
Yeah, that's why he gets the win.
Yeah.
Because I mean, who's gonna beat a car?
Yeah. So, but like what you're saying to me is this car, if it hits you in a certain point in your head, because the people have taken a shot from Ngannou before and not been knocked out.
Yeah, I've seen lots
So
of people
basically-
run over by cars.
And did they get knocked out?
Some of them died actually.
So, I just don't get this logic. I never
Oh, like
got that
they
when
might
said
not have
that.
had their guard up though.
No,
That's
it
one
wasn't like the
point.
perfect punch.
Like yeah, it was like crossing the pedestrian crossing. You know, they didn't quite. Yeah, so
Yeah, that's true. If they put their hands up, they probably,
Honestly,
would
yeah.
have been okay.
next time you get hit by a car, I want to see your guard up.
Yeah, can we test this? Like, how do we test this? Do we know anyone with a Ford Escort?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or a sledgehammer?
A sledge.
I just-
You probably know someone with a sledgehammer.
We're taking anyone who wants to get involved with the show. We've got a job for you. Put your guard. You're just gonna stand right here, and we're gonna hit you with a sledgehammer. But you've got to
Or
put
a
your
Ford
guard
Escort.
up. Or a Ford Escort.
We might have some trouble finding one for a little bit, but
Yeah,
I
we'll
feel like
provide one.
staffing this person is also going to take a wee while
Yeah, I
too.
don't know whether anyone's gonna be that keen on it.
But hit us up.
Um,
On God.
let's make a poll. Would you rather be hit by Francis Ngannou or a Ford Escort? Take your pick.
The other thing too is there's no real like they didn't have a crumple zone on those cars.
No.
You know? They were built to like
They were built to hit people in the face.
they were built
Just like
not to
sledgehammers.
buckle.
Yeah, they were
So-
built to keep going.
You know. I mean we've seen dude, have you seen that jackass clip of that guy getting hit by Francis Ngannou?
Yeah. Didn't he get hit in the balls?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Like as long as it wasn't there, I think I'd probably choose the hit from Francis Ngannou just because
Yeah.
I think he'd be nice about it. Whereas a Ford Escort,
And we get to meet Ngannou as well.
Mm,
That would be cool.
yeah, that would be a plus. Have some questions.
Yeah. Talk about the sand dunes.
What is it with you and Frank?
I don't know,
these sand dunes.
That's where he comes from, inside of the sand dunes.
Right.
He was born in the sand dunes.
This is a hot take. I don't know if we want to dive into this. Izzy's taking some time off though.
Izzy
we
is
heard
taking
about
some
that.
time off.
Just
Israel Adesanya.
diving out of this line of conversation.
Yeah. You sure you don't want any of your drink?
I've been sipping along quite nicely, thanks, champ.
I'm struggling. Izzy's taking a bit of time off. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, 2027. I don't think so. I think you could kind of see that little smirk in his eye as he
He was a bit drunk, I think. When he
Yeah,
was talking
it
about
looked
that.
like it.
He seemed a bit drunk.
He talked about playing a bit of golf, but God, if you're a fighter and you go and play golf for 4 years, I don't see how
How the mentality switches.
yeah.
He's still hitting things.
You're still hitting things, but not people.
No,
And
it's not quite as violent.
and yeah, you don't feel like, or at least I never have. Well, I've hardly ever been on a golf course, but in the limited experience I have been on a golf course, it's never been a time where I've thought I've been, in a life-threatening situation either. It doesn't quite.
It does happen.
I'm sure it does.
You get angry, drunk.
I once saw a guy get hit by a Ford Escort on a golf course.
Was it Francis Ngannou hitting someone with his hand?
Sorry. Now my memory's blurred.
Yeah.
It could. I'm not sure.
Come on, they look quite similar, and
No.
they hit quite similar.
It may have been a Ford Escort,
Okay.
but could have been a golf cart. Either way, not many
Sledgehammer.
life-threatening situations on
Think
a golf
about
course.
it. Francis hits harder than a golf.
A golf
buggy.
cart.
Yeah,
You're about to say a golf course.
yeah. I was gonna say that. But Francis Ngannou, technically, if he hits as hard as a Ford Escort, which is bigger than a golf cart,
That's right.
he hits harder than a golf cart going at a certain amount of speed to your chin.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
I don't get the science. If someone can explain the science behind
Yeah,
that
that's
whole thing,
science. That's what we're here for.
I'm
We're
not-
debunking science.
we
mate.
are. And don't forget, we're just two people who watch MMA. We're not the smartest cookies, all right? So if anyone knows the science behind that whole...
We're just sitting in a corner watching combat.
There is actually a corner,
if you will.
So we are in the combat corner. But anyway, is he taking... Do we think that he's actually going to be off until 2027? No way. I'd give him a year or two max. If he is serious, that's pretty crazy. I hope he does all right, because I know certain fighters do struggle in long periods of time off.
Yeah, wouldn't that make him 38 by the time he comes back?
Yeah, he's 35, isn't he? But I'll check.
Another fact check.
Sorry about that, guys. We just had a bit of a technical hiccup. We've just pulled up Izzy's age. 34 years old. He turned 34 in July. So, yeah, he'll be, right about 37.
Yeah.
Depending on when he
depending
fights.
on when he...
38.
If this is what actually takes place.
Yeah, which... Again, we don't believe that it's going to be the case, but...
It'll be interesting, man. Like, I think some time off will do him good. And I think the other thing that it will do as well is it'll give the middleweight division a bit of time to kind of move around. And, like, there might be some more fights that open up that interest him a little bit more. Because, I mean, whether you like it or not, he did take a hell of an L in that last fight. And, that was... A massive moment as an MMA fan, whether you're Strickland fan, Izzy fan, either way.
Yeah.
But the fights that he had leading up to that, before that, even maybe, before the rivalry with Alex Pereira even. But there's a large chunk of a very dominant period where he went through and fought pretty much the same guys over and over again and demolished them. Well, a lot of them.
Yeah, you've got to think about his motivation there.
Exactly. Like, it's got to have taken a bit of a hit. And to go out there and just get, smashed to bits by number 6 ranked Sean Strickland at the time, I believe he was. That's got to be a bit of a hit to the mental. But a year, maybe 18 months, who knows? Like, who knows how long the actual break's going to be? I hope it's a decent amount of time, because I can, if he does come back in the next year or two, I can see it being still a decent time frame. But 3 years, 4 years... Man, he's pushing it at that point.
He's really not knocking up the years quite. He's not getting any younger. And fingers crossed it's only a couple years. I'm excited for his comeback when it does happen. I hope, if he needs to take some time off, that's awesome. But hopefully it's not too long. Because,
as a fan, hopefully it's not too long.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I'd love to see a rematch with Sean down the line. Not straight away, but down the line. It would be pretty cool.
It'll be interesting to see if Sean retains that belt for very long.
Yeah.
I hope he does.
Same. So do I. But it's a shark tank at middleweight. It really is. You've got a lot of guys right there ready to take it from him. Whether they do or whether they can, that's a different story. But there's a few guys there that I worry for Sean.
It's always going to be a shark tank of a division, It's quite a... Like, there's so much movement in that division. There's always some new blood coming through, and there's always some guy who just looks way too washed out in the top 8, or wherever he is. But
there's always people coming up, dropping off, coming up, dropping off.
Yes, it's a lot busier than you see these than the other divisions can be. Like, you look at heavyweight, like how much has been moving in there. I mean, we've had a couple guys come through, but not at the same kind of rapid
potency.
Rapid potency. Wow.
It's quite good, isn't it? No, it's one of the best divisions in the UFC. It's got to be. It kind of seems stagnant because Izzy fought so many people over and over again. But there's some real killers in there who could beat Sean Strickland. For a while, I think people did think it was a bit of a logjam of a division, but now that Izzy's gone, it gives you some perspective of like, no, this is a crazy division. You've got Chimaev right there. You got Alex Pereira. Obviously, he's moved up now, but he was there for a while. Some absolute killers: Jared Cannonier, Costa, Izzy. Sorry, not Izzy. Rob. A bunch of guys and a few up and coming guys. Roman Delatse, whatever. Aliskerov. It's a good division, and it's a good time to be part of that division, I guess. Well, maybe it's not a good time to be part of it.
Well, no, not really.
It's not an easy place to be.
Good time to watch.
Sure. It's a good time to watch that division. It's a good
time.
Yeah,
you gotta watch your back if you're in that division at the moment.
For sure. So again, fingers crossed it isn't too long of a period off for Izzy, a couple years. However long he wants to, I'm happy that he's happy. in a way. I don't want to rush him back. Obviously,
Nice, mate.
my opinion's not going to really matter, is it?
Aw.
Or maybe he'll watch. Do you think Izzy watches our show?
Well, if he does, we've had Kobe. Yeah, Israel.
Send me a
bit more
message.
Formal. We're not quite there yet.
No, not even Izzy. David Adesanya.
Kobe's happy. You're happy.
Yeah, I'm happy.
That's
You're
the
happy.
main thing. That's the
I just
takeaway.
want David Adesanya to give me a message. We'll collaborate. You're a good filmmaker. We're not.
Yeah, I'm not even going to comment on that. I don't do the filmmaking, but
No.
it's probably why it is so, below par.
Oh, hey. But yeah, not really too much else to say. Like we just said, glad you're happy, Izzy. Do your thing. Come back, ready to go, ready to win that belt again. What else do we have to talk about on this episode?
Well, segueing away from Izzy, we can go into this conveniently Chinese beverage.
Segmenting away.
Yeah, away from Izzy and into this Chinese beverage that
It looks like Izzy's shorts.
It
from that
does.
fight.
That's a good point.
Well, so the Izzy style drink of choice.
So yeah, that's another thing we didn't address at the start, but we're going to be popping two of these episodes out a week, and one of them will be filmed on a Monday night when both of us don't really feel like drinking a beer.
Yeah,
often.
yeah.
So
the fall
we're
out of the weekend.
Yeah, fresh out of the weekend. It's it's a bit of a risky one.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's one of those days, it's a Monday, you don't really want to be drinking. I'm going to be going to training. I don't know what you'll be doing later, but
Not that.
You might be hitting the bag.
I might hit the bag.
In the bag. It's just not a night that you want to be drinking, in our opinion. But what we've decided to do is we'll be drinking a
this
non-alcoholic
segment is such a
beverage.
hit.
It is. Everyone loves it, man.
Yeah,
It's been getting massive attention online. Kylie Jenner retweeted it.
I remember that.
So anyway, this is our non-alcoholic drink of the
Yes.
week, of the day, of the week.
Wang Lao Ji herbal tea.
As we mentioned, Wang Lao Ji herbal tea.
I want to say, damn, that's a lot of sugar though.
Man, I don't know about you, but I hate this. This is horrible.
Like,
What are the Chinese up to?
I don't know. It's enough to keep me going. I was a bit thirsty when we started this episode, which has become a bit of a problem because it kind of forced me into it.
Can I hold your can?
Why?
I just want to see how much.
Don't
you've
you have
drunk.
your?
I want to see how much you've drunk in comparison to how much I've drunk.
All right, mate.
Oh, okay.
Is it a bit more?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm braver.
Yeah, you are.
Look at that.
I took a few. You've probably seen my face throughout this episode, and when I take a sip, it's been like, yeah.
Out of
No.
respect, I'll
What's your rating? Give us a rating.
a rating. Yeah, it's absolutely horrible.
It is. I think that's 1.
It's one what?
1 out of 10.
Yeah.
Honestly,
at-
that's quite possibly. But this is what the
What are you
segment's
guys
for.
doing over there? Herbal tea?
It just tastes like awful. I don't. If that's your thing, I'm sorry, but
I don't think of what it actually does taste like, but there's no word for it.
it tastes a bit herbal.
It's like Dr. Pepper, but if Dr. Pepper was flat and left in the sun, but then refrigerated for 15 minutes before you came over.
Yeah,
That's what it tastes like.
and they just add a bunch
That's
of herbs
my.
and spices.
That's my.
It's like
That's my
Dr Pepper
review.
if it wasn't very good
Yeah,
and really
flat.
bad and flat and not good. So
And
yeah, I'm
Chinese.
going 1 out of 10. In Chinese, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
I'm gonna
definitely
go
can't finish that.
for a 1.49
1.49 out of 10.
because that's how much it costs.
Oh really? That's
Yep,
not too bad.
$1.49. So it is a budget drink. It's something you can drink if you don't have much in the pocket. You feel like a bit of a herbal tea.
Maybe you're Chinese.
Maybe you are.
Oh,
Either way, it's a bargain. If you don't feel like you've
You don't
got any
feel like
taste
spending
buds
too
for the day,
it's full of sugar though, and
it is full of sugar.
so it's not
very good
even
for you.
worth it. Like, it's horrible. Don't buy
I'm
this drink.
disappointed.
I'm pretty mad because it did look quite cool. Like, it looks cool.
If you hoped we were only going to be rating good beverages on this show, what we're actually here to do is we're here to try the drinks that
Try new stuff.
try new stuff for one, and also just make sure you guys don't have to go out there and make the same mistake. That's the main thing.
That's the main. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
if anyone ever says, would you like some
The herbal.
Wow Lang G herbal tea, you say, no thanks, not for me. It's not worth it.
It isn't worth it.
I think we've gone on about this long enough.
Yeah, we'll cut it there. The drink isn't very good, basically, and I don't want you to buy it. If you do buy it and you want to tell us how much you don't like it, flick us a message because we'd really appreciate that.
Let us know what we should drink next week.
Yeah, give us recommendations.
On our non-alcoholic episode.
And the alcoholic one.
Both of them.
We're open to suggestions for the alcohol rating contest we do on a Saturday and for the horrible Chinese beverage that we drink every Monday.
Is it going to be a Chinese beverage every Monday?
No. But give us recommendations.
That could be interesting.
It could be. That'd be a weird feature.
It would.
For an MMA podcast.
Yeah.
Strange Chinese.
Filmed in New
drink.
Zealand?
Yeah.
Tight.
All right. I'll tell you what. I think we've pretty much talked about everything we want to talk about. I think
We've talked about everything we want to talk to.
yeah, we've talked about everything.
We've talked to
we would
everyone
like
we want to talk to.
Everyone here.
Thanks,
great
guys.
People of Canada. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
We'll leave it there. As always, please like this video, share it around, comment, subscribe. You know, any feedback would be absolutely awesome. We're always looking to improve, as we always say, and you know, any feedback would be great.
Definitely. Anyway, we'll see you on
See you on Saturday.
Saturday.
Have a good one.
See y'all.